Hey, friends. Listen, this is the Bible study for Thursday Night Primer. Thursday night, let's see, 19, 20, 21. I believe it's the 21st, whatever that Thursday is of May. And it's all about listening. How do we listen? What are we doing to listen for God's call in our lives? Just a little background. The term calling is interpreted in a lot of different ways. Many believers spend years just trying to figure out what it is, what's that one thing that God calls us to, sometimes even disengaging from involvement in a church or involvement in ministry because they're not sure about what that one thing is. They look for miraculous signs like the Apostle Paul, who was literally blinded while he was going from one town to another. But the truth is, for most of us, that's not how calling works. That's certainly not how my calling worked. When I went to seminary, I don't know how often I've shared this story, but when I went to seminary, I didn't want to be a pastor, at least not of a local church the way I am now. I wanted to do some sort of parachurch ministry, which means I wanted to work with the homeless in the inner city and maybe be connected to a group of churches or something like that. That's where I saw my calling. I didn't embrace sort of a local church call until midway through seminary. And at that point, even then, I didn't want to be the preaching pastor. I wanted to be the pastor in the church that dealt with the social service ministries. It was only when I was an associate pastor in a downtown church in Washington, D.C., doing exactly what I wanted to do. I was working with the homeless and social service ministries. I was working with at-risk youth from all over the city. It was fantastic. It was fun. And it was right exactly in what I thought my calling was. But it was in the midst of that I began to realize that perhaps another aspect of that calling was preaching and doing the kinds of things that a lead pastor does. So I had no idea, and it was only by responding in faith to the things that I sensed that eventually led me to discover my calling. And so I would submit that that's one of the ways that we know what God's calling is you're faithful for what you think you hear, and once you get moving, then God kind of steers you as you go, which is a reason why it's important to always be listening to God for what his calling is. There's a quote from Isaac Newton in the First Law of Motions that an object in motion tends to remain in motion, and an object at rest tends to remain at rest. And I think that's a little bit similar to the story I'm telling and the thing I'm asking for. But we're going to look at a variety of scriptures. We're going to look at, and I'm going to put those in the video description. So that's this Thursday, 7 p.m. Let's see, I can confirm the date. I can make sure I've got this right. That is Thursday the 21st, 7 p.m. via Zoom. And if you get the church emails, the credential is there. If you don't, send me a message and I will get those credentials to you so that you know how to log in. We have been sometimes broadcasting that live to Facebook at the same time, but a few folks have expressed some privacy concerns with that, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to Zoom this week. There is a way that you can call in though, so that if you want to just listen, or even if you Zoom in by computer, you can still not put your photo up. You can do it without video, do it audio only, and you can join that way as well, where you can speak or not speak. It's completely up to you. But at any rate, I hope you'll join us. I think this will be a fruitful discussion, and have a great day.